This here is the Yoga Pro 9i, or if you're in North America, the Lenovo Slim Pro 9i. On the surface, it's an ultra-portable 16-inch laptop. But then we swing on over to this side of the laptop. There's an Intel Core i9-13905H in here and a GeForce RTX 4070. All that, and she's well under an inch thick. Now look, I'll be honest, I've never really been sold on 16-inch laptops. They're just not my forte. I prefer 14-inch devices. They usually don't forego too much in the way of hardware support, and they're just so much more portable. If you can't already tell, that's a huge selling point for me when it comes to laptops. It needs to be portable and have decent battery life to be usable on the go. And until today, I kind of tended to stay away from these. That changes today. We've partnered with Lenovo to discuss the Yoga Pro 9i and some of the benefits it has over the competition. The combination of hardware here, I think, is going to be a huge selling point, especially for creators, heck, even gamers. Even though this isn't technically advertised as a gaming laptop, you could certainly do that as well. And we're going to show you some of the things that it's capable of in this video. So let's kick things off by discussing the brand identity of Yoga. It used to be you could flip these devices all the way around, the screens would articulate 360 degrees, and you'd have sort of like a laptop/tablet hybrid. They have the Yoga Book if you're interested in that, but these new Yoga devices do not do that. The screens only flatten, and this allows Lenovo to place much more powerful components inside these devices. You can see plenty of airflow underneath this thing, and if you had the screen flip all the way around, you'd miss out on this airflow. But these powerful components need fresh air, and this gives the Yoga brand a new identity, a new flexibility for the content creator, for the productivity manager, someone who wants to just have an all-purpose laptop that they can carry around with them, let it be super portable. This is the machine for you, and this one, frankly, might be overkill for you. But maybe that's a good thing. For starters, this has ports aplenty. A Type A port here on the right, a full-size SD card slot, physical power button with an LED indicator, and a camera kill switch. On the left, a dedicated power port, another Type A port, a full-size HDMI slot, a Thunderbolt 4 Type C port, and a unified microphone headphone jack. There are 6 speakers built into this thing. It is incredible how clear these things sound. Check this out. Woo-wee. No lie, those are the best sounding speakers I've heard in a laptop outside of Apple products. Impressive. Typing on this keyboard feels nice and ergonomic for the most part. I'm not a fan of the key spacing, but that's just a personal preference. The contours in each key are quite nice, and you also get 1.5 millimeters of key travel per key instead of 1.3 like you were before. You also get 10 key support off here to the right, and that's just a consequence of choosing the 16-inch option. And while we're on this side of the device, you'll find the only branding near the deck, the Lenovo logo, and this is very minimal. I really like it. Also, this color, tidal teal is what they call it, and it's an homage to the Yoga brand's new sustainable approach to creating and selling laptops. The Yoga brand is committed to using recycled aluminum and recycled post-consumer plastics for its devices. You'll also find these ship in recycled renewable packaging, which is really cool. Just another way that Yoga is trying to set itself apart from the status quo. The remaining branding on the Yoga Pro 9i is fairly minimal. Again, I love this approach. You see the small Yoga logo off here to the top left if you're looking at the device from the back. We also get another Lenovo logo here on the bottom right, and then some small wording here where you'll expect to find that front-facing camera. Speaking of, it has a 5-megapixel sensor, an f2 aperture, and 4 mics built in. Okay, all right. We've got to test this. Now, Lenovo want to stress this is a pre-production unit. This laptop is not the one you'll see on the shelves. It will look almost identical to this, but there will be some software things, some tweaks that'll be hashed out by the time those units hit the shelf. So don't worry if you see some slight artifacting or hear some weird noises. Those are still being worked out in software. But for now, yeah, let me know in the comment section below what you think of the way this looks and the way this sounds. Now I want to move on to this screen because it is one of the best I think I've ever seen in a laptop that doesn't have an OLED panel. This is actually a mini LED display, and it's got a resolution of 3200 by 2000, which is around 3.2K. The colors in this thing, the accuracy, the refresh rate, all of that are just they're so good. They're so yummy. You're gonna eat this up. I guarantee you. You look at one of these on the shelves and you're gonna know, okay, this is a premium display. Lenovo's given this the Pure Sight certification. Now, just for the record, if you see Pure Sight on any of these devices, know that it means a top quality display is going into it. I'm going to read off some of the benefits of the Pure Sight certification just so you have an idea of what we're working with here. It has to have a PPI higher than 242, which for a laptop is already pretty dang high. It has to have a minimum brightness of 400 nits. I'm going to show you how bright this thing gets. It's freaking incredible. It just gets blown out on camera. Like, and this is normal lighting in a room with actually studio lights. It still looks overblown in the footage, and that is otherworldly. I love how bright this display gets. So in the sun, say you're editing outdoors or something along those lines, a bright display's got you covered. This thing gets up, I think, 1200 nits, which is just bizarre. It has to have 100% or more DCI-P3 color gamut, which for the layman means super, super accurate colors, and for us content creators, it's just chef's kiss. It's got Dolby Vision, 10-bit color, and it has to have a smooth, super fast response time, or a low response time, I should say, of 0.2 milliseconds or lower. And boy, that response time is in fact quite juicy. 0.2 milliseconds means you're probably not going to see any tails behind any of these UFOs in this test. And that's exactly what we see here. Super smooth, super buttery, none of that weird blurry stuff behind fast-moving objects on screen. This is going to come in handy actually for gaming as well. Even though this isn't technically a gaming laptop, that's super useful there as well. And speaking of gaming, this silky smooth mini LED display also has 165 Hz refresh rate. This is an all-around excellent display. Now let's talk performance, and I think this is going to speak for itself here. So again, that 13905H is a beast of an Intel chip, Core i9. It's got 8, I believe, efficiency cores. It has 6 performance cores. Those are hyper-threaded, 5.4 gigahertz of max turbo boost. I mean, look at this thing. It's just chugging along here. No problems at all. I'm used to seeing this number of tiles being worked out on desktops. The fact that we have laptops now that have this many cores is just beyond me. I think it's a 45-watt chip as well. So a heck of a powerhouse, and it can do a lot of damage, especially in some of those content creation suites out there. And when we throw in some discrete graphics power from this RTX 4070, this by the way is a 100-watt TGP unit, an absolute beast in this 16-inch model. You get some really good performance, especially synthetic performance in things like 3D Mark Time Spy. This is a 1440p synthetic benchmark, and you can see we're scoring well above 50% of all submitted results, which for, again, a laptop this thin, I think that is fairly incredible. And quick little fun fact while we're here, you notice that there are black bars on the top and bottom of this Time Spy synthetic. That is because this is a 3200 by 2000 resolution display, meaning it's a 16 by 10 panel versus a traditional 16 by 9. You get a little more vertical real estate here, and I think it's going to come in handy for especially some of those content creation applications. And of course, this translates so very well into a lot of games out there, including F122, which by the way has DLSS baked in, meaning you can take better advantage of our RTX 4070 laptop GPU. In tandem with our Intel Core i9 13905H, we get very, very healthy frame rates here, well above 100 in 1440p with DLSS enabled and in-game settings set to medium. It's pretty cool that a laptop this thin is able to almost fully saturate its 165 Hz panel without compromising too much in the way of in-game settings. Oh, and by the way, how about some sweet, sweet Gen 4 NVMe speeds? Let's be honest. With this sort of hardware combo, should you really be all that surprised that the Yoga Pro can shred frames? I'm not. I mean, a 4070 with a 100-watt TGP and a laptop this thin and light is already impressive enough. Combine that with a multi-core Core i9 from Intel, and you've just got a frame shredder, hands down, without a doubt. So how about this on top? An Adobe shredder. This laptop handles editing, handles timelines in Premiere, and renders so dang well. I feel like I'm on my desktop, and that, mind you, has a 4080 in it and a desktop-grade Intel Core i9 13900K. This feels just as smooth, if not smoother, and I'm not exaggerating that. Just look at this 4K scrubbing on the timeline. It is so seamless, and this is the full resolution in playback you're seeing here. It looks so dang clean. I'm actually kind of shocked at how smooth this is. It's so good at this, in fact, that it just rendered this 2-minute timeline in the YouTube 4K preset in under 40 seconds. Granted, we don't have any crazy adjustment layers or anything going on, but that is still super impressive and will be super helpful when I'm out of the office. In fact, Lenovo is so confident in this laptop's ability to handle programs like Premiere Pro and Photoshop that they've included a 2-month free trial of the entire Creative Cloud suite, totally on the house. You don't pay a dime for 2 months. And if you already have an Adobe subscription, just take 2 months off the tab. It's literally can just be baked right into your current bill, so you don't have to pay for 2 months. With every 2023 Yoga Pro purchase, you will be able to take advantage of that. I think that is freaking cool. In fact, this particular 13th gen Intel processor is pretty custom because they've managed to squeeze more power into a smaller package designed specifically for laptops like the Pro 9i. So it's about 24% smaller than the typical H series model, and that means that when combined with a high efficiency motherboard, you'll get shorter, faster paths between things like memory, which allows them to clock these up to 6400 megahertz. A smaller footprint also means more room for cooling, so you get larger fans, larger heat sinks, just ways to mitigate all the heat being dumped by these very powerful components. And this all ties into Lenovo X-Power, which is their proprietary custom performance tuning solution designed to maximize performance in an ultra-thin design, which this certainly has. So by shrinking the main board, obviously you're reducing those pathways like we said. That reduces signal decay and allows you to keep sustained higher frequencies. You also notice that these fans, while they are large, are positioned closer to the middle of the device, giving Lenovo a bit more room to stack in some pretty beefy heat sinks higher up. You can also expect these efficiency improvements to benefit battery life. You see our big beefy lithium ion down here, and that's another key ingredient of Lenovo X-Power, is being able to balance all of that performance with battery life, and that will totally depend on your usage and of course the settings you enable within the application. In my case here, I think the only real drawback to the 16-inch model is the fact that it is the 16-inch model. I'm still not totally sold on the size. I think that the 14-inch model is going to be the sweet spot. You're not losing much in the way of performance at all. I think the TGP of the GPU, possibly the boost frequencies of the, or the sustained boost frequencies of the CPU are pulled back just a tad to accommodate the smaller footprint. But other than that, there really aren't any super tangible differences. And I think you'll save about $100 or $200 opting for the 14-inch version as well. The mini LED display is incredible. This is one of the things that I think Lenovo nailed here. And so if you're looking at a laptop like this, definitely opt for the mini LED display. If they have that as an option, it will probably cost a bit more, but your eyes will thank you, trust me. Apart from OLED, this is really the best we've got to date for a consumer laptop. The keyboard is fine. I don't have any real gripes with it apart from key spacing. We already discussed that. The trackpad is huge. By the way, I didn't talk too much about the trackpad, but it is enormous, and I've got to say Lenovo definitely improved just the clickability of the touchpad. It feels so much better now. Just you glide over it, got that nice glass texture. So I really like that they maximized the space of this. I think it is a tad bit smaller in the 14-inch model, but it's still a very large touchpad and one that I don't think will disappoint you in a Windows device. The Yoga Pro lineup is definitely a creator-friendly laptop, and even the 16-inch model, to be fair, is pretty portable. With the 16-inch model having a 100-watt TGP, music to my ears. With that, if you'd like to learn more about the Yoga Pro 9i, this particular laptop and its 14-inch counterpart, be sure to check out the top link in this video description. I again want to thank Lenovo for sponsoring this video. Hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing if you have not already, and leave a comment down below. My name is Greg. Thanks for learning with me.